Welcome, everybody. We'd like everybody to stand quick because we want to do the national anthem. If we can have you stand, please. You, but that always gets me. I love that song. Before we get started, before we get up, everybody up here and all the awards given out, if you served in the armed forces, armed services, if you're a fireman, you're a policeman, I want you to stand up real quick. Anybody that served our country and serves it today, let's give these people a round of applause, because without them, none of us would be here. Thank you very much for your service. I got to put my cheaters on here. Okay, we want to thank everybody for coming out. This is the 23rd Annual Hall of Fame Dinner. As you can see, it's a great crowd. Every year seems to be better and better. We love you guys coming. We love the Hall of Fame. But most of all, we love our game, don't we? It's the greatest game in the world. I'd like to congratulate all 19 people going into the Hall of Fame this year. It's not easy to get in. There's a long process. I know some people think it's just, two guys sit down and pick whoever they want. That's not the case. There's committees set up. They have to turn in a lot of paperwork. We go through the paperwork. So it's a long process and not an easy thing to do. And you have to be a great player or a great team to do it. And the evidence is right here in this room. I want to thank Zach Mag for the video that he did. He did a great job, Zach. Fantastic. I love it. I'm going to read the names of my fellow board members. If you could please stand. Ray Tops, my vice president. Ray's in the back. Mark Fagetto, our secretary. Bill Cavanaugh, our treasurer. Bill, thank you for your service. Bill is a Vietnam vet. I have a special place in my heart because my brother was there, and all you guys from Vietnam never got the recognition you deserve, but Bill, thank you very much. Al Mag, our co-founder. John Doss, I know he couldn't be here because of the snow outside. He works for Forest Park, and he's on call tonight, so he couldn't make it. Paul Rowan in the back here. Fritz Zimmerman, the greatest guy in the world. Mike Coleman. Frank Lantine up here in the front. Sherman Martin. George Renulius. I never get it right, George. Curtis Grandison Sr. Chris Downs. That beautiful book you see in front of you. Thanks, Chris, for that. Austin Ware. Tommy Lantine. They put a lot of work in over the year just to make sure that we have a great Hall of Fame and everything keeps running. So thank you guys for everything you do in supporting me. I want to do a special thank you, and I'm really happy that she's here tonight. Rachel, where you at? I can't see her. There she's in the back. Rachel just went through a year of chemo, suffered from cancer, but she's here, doing great. We love you, girl. Thank you for everything you do. We kind of gave Rachel a little bit of time off, so my daughter, Katie, can you stand up? She took over the dinner. If you bought tickets, that's who you had to deal with. Thank you, Katie, for standing in for Rachel this year. When I asked her to do it, she didn't even hit me. I was really shocked. If we can, there should be a slide up here. We want to take a moment of silence for our brothers that are gone now, that left us this past year. I think there's 6 or 7 of them. Their pictures up here, the names in the back of the book. So if you can, just give me a moment's silence, because they're on the big baseball diamond upstairs waiting for the rest of us. All great guys. Thanks. I know they're looking down on us today, and I get kind of emotional because 2 of my good buddies up there, Stan Paddock and Buck Roderick, they were really close to me. Bob Campbell, Bob was a big instrument in softball. He helped us form the Hall of Fame, so he's a great guy too. The golf outing, I want to let you know, is September 13th, like it is every year, that Friday. If you can, fill out a form, come on out. We have a great time. Our sport, kind of give you a little history or a little background on our sport the past year. I personally think it's really growing. I think it's stopped going down. It's starting to go back uphill again. We've seen teams from Oregon, Vegas, California, Pennsylvania, New York, Michigan now, Iowa. It's not just Illinois anymore. They're all over the country, and there's more leagues forming. So our game is coming back. We went to a tournament. Ronnie Matriciano's here. He runs the Las Vegas tournament. What do you have, like 7 different states come, Ronnie? It's great to see. See all these guys, and they're good. Last year, a team from California took 2nd place in the SSA Nationals. I mean, that was unheard of in years past. So our game is growing, and I'm really proud of it. A lot of it has to do with people like our Gio, who does the games live on Facebook and stuff. So our game is spreading, and he gets so many people to watch it. Timmy Maher, all you guys do a great job of promoting our game, and we thank you. There's more women in co-ed leagues now. It used to be just the women leagues. Now there's a lot of co-ed leagues, so that's growing too. I want to congratulate Lane Tech. I know nobody's here for them, but they won the Chicago championship. First time ever, too. They didn't hold it in Chicago. They held it at Forest Park, right by the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame was a sponsor. The city of Chicago decided they weren't going to do it anymore, so we kept it going, and so we brought it out there. And they were very appreciative of that. Okay, I'm going through these quick. I'm trying to get everybody up here. I want to thank Sal Malazzo. Sal here tonight, I can't remember if I saw him come in. 30 teams he had in the Dome this year in the Winter League. And Sal's there 4 nights a week. Sal, incredible job. Great league, great for softball. And I said, this guy really, he hustles his butt off to get the game out there. So, Sal, thank you too. I want to bring Pat McGuire up real quick. She wants to explain the 50-50 raffles before we get going with our other introductions. So, Pat.
Okay, most of you had the table raffle. If anyone did not do it, last call. Okay, one table will win $500 tonight. Also, we have brick forms. If you buy a brick tonight, you have a special price, $200 for the small brick and $400 for the big brick. If you buy it tonight for your team, deceased member, friend, colleague, whatever, it will be in the ground for inductee day, which is 23rd of July at Forest Park. Okay, the brick forms are on the table where the T-shirts are. Our 50-50 split the pot will be given out at the end of the program also. Any more tickets, if you want to buy them, they're at the table where the T-shirts are. Same thing with the basket raffle, 5 for $20. Same thing with split pot, 5 for $20. If you want them, they're at the table over there. And then the girls also will be selling them one last lap. So if you have any questions, stop by the table. Thank you.
Before I introduce our MC tonight, can I get all the March, anybody that played for March to come on the my right side, left side of the stage, please? Come on up, because that's going to be the first award. What you have in the program, we've kind of changed the program a little bit, so it's pretty close, but not the same. So we've made a few changes. You probably, if you've been here before, you've always noticed George Bliss up here. Well, George has decided to move to Florida. We know he'll be back in the summer to watch all the games, But he's not here right now. We wanted to thank George for everything he's done for softball. He's a great promoter. He always did a great job up here. So George, I know he's down there, but thank you so much for what you did. So we had to find a replacement for George. And we didn't have to go very far. We looked at one of our own Hall of Famers. Thank goodness the Bulls lost, because otherwise he wouldn't be able to come here tonight. I know if you're a Chicago Bulls fan, you're not happy, but we were talking earlier, Steve and I, and he said, well, if the Bulls were still winning, I wouldn't be here. I said, well, Huck, you're going to be here for 10 more years then. Sorry. I'd like to introduce Steve Kashul, who is the voice of the Bulls, and actually a great Hall of Famer himself for 60 in softball. And if you remember him and Mike North used to do the games on TV. Steve?
Walk-up music, I love it. Thanks, Ron. Appreciate that. Let me get my own notes out. Had a long speech here to do for the opening, but got a lot of guys from March waiting, so I got to shorten this. But we appreciate everybody coming. This is so Chicago. This is awesome. It really is. And we got the, 20 degrees outside and snow and hail and everything. Nice global warming. My goodness, blame it on somebody. But you people are great for coming out. We appreciate it. It's a special night for all the Hall of Fame inductees. And I know what that means because I was fortunate to be an inductee back in 2008 when Mike North and I, we got put in the so-called media wing of the 16-inch softball Hall of Fame after doing the games, if you remember, back on Sports Channel. How many people remember Sports Channel? Remember that? Yeah. Did the Bulls, Blackhawks, White Sox, and then it turned to Fox, and then it was Comcast Sportsnet. Now it's NBC Sports Chicago. Back in the mid-'90s, I worked there full-time hosting the Bulls games, and Mike North and I got asked to do these super 16-inch softball games. And you know what? I traveled with Michael Jordan in the late 90s, and got to play golf with Ernie Banks and Stan Mikita and Bobby Hull during my golf show, and so many fun things. But I don't know if I've had more fun than when I was watching the best 16-inch softball players in the world play in those games. We used to do the Super 16-inch softball games on Sports Channel every Sunday night. Mike Ditka was a regular viewer. A couple of his coaches used to tell us they used to make sure that they tuned in at 8 o'clock on Sunday night. So what an honor that was. So I know what this night means to so many of you, because if you're part of the Hall of Fame, it's tough. It's tough to get in any Hall of Fame. So to be honored tonight is just a wonderful, wonderful tribute. And the museum is awesome. I hope you support the museum. I took my wife and boys there and to go through there and see what it's all about. Such a wonderful place in Forest Park. So my message to you tonight, before we get going with all the awards, is to grow the game. Please keep promoting it. Promote the museum. These people, the board members, Al, Mag, Ron, what these guys do, the board, they really work hard to keep this thing going. And if you're an inductee tonight, please try to come back next year and the year after. We need to get more people who are in the Hall of Fame to support this. So before we get into the awards, I got one quick story for you. It's kind of fun. Kind of sad, but kind of fun. Two old men had been best friends for years. They both lived in their early 90s. Suddenly, one of them falls deathly ill, and his friend comes over to visit him on his deathbed, and they're reminiscing. They both played 16-inch softball for years and years together. And the dying man's friend asks, listen, when you get to heaven, send me some sign, please. I want to know if there's 16-inch softball in heaven. Please send me some sign. So the dying man said, we've been friends a long time. We played a lot of years. You know what? I'll do this for you. Absolutely. And then he dies. A couple of days later, his surviving friend is sleeping when he hears his friend's voice. And the voice says, I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. The good news is, yes, we certainly have 16-inch softball in heaven. The bad news is, you're pitching tomorrow. Let's get into it, all right? We're going to honor the premier sponsor for teams of all caliber and the key sponsor for the Hall of Fame. Now, our first of 5 teams being honored tonight was organized in 1974 by the March Manufacturing Company in Glenview. After finding success in local league championships, they entered more competitive play and won the 1983 Thillins Tournament. By 1988, they were winning at the majors level, and they won a state title in 1994. They followed that with numerous top four finishes in ASA, USSA, and NSA national tournaments. With the advent then of the 21st century, the team focused on 40 and over and 50 and over leagues, frequently finding themselves in the championship game, and have won 2 of the 4 50 and over World Series championships, competing in tournaments across the country to promote the game with their premier class of 20 to 55-year-old players. All of their winnings are donated back to charitable causes. That's a great story. Over its 45-year history, as many as 2,000 players and coaches have been part of this legacy started by Fritz Zimmerman. Where's Mr. Zimmerman? Mr. Zimmerman, wonderful job. The Hall of Fame honors March softball and Fritz Zimmerman.
As everybody's coming up, because we got a lot of them up here, I've known Fritz quite a long time. He doesn't remember, but I know he remembers, but back with the Splinter teams, and he's always been a great, if not the greatest sponsor of softball. This is such a well-deserving award. He's kind of a shy guy like me. He hates when I do this all the time, and I get yelled at afterwards, but that's okay, I'll take it. The guys that play for him love him. He takes us, we were with Vegas, Arizona. We won the last 2 or 3 years out there, both places. He never says no. He always takes care of his players. But he's not a very good public speaker. He doesn't like to be in front of us. But I want him to know that the softball world, the Hall of Fame, that museum would not be standing. The inductee park would not be there if it wasn't for Fritz Zimmerman. That's no joke. He's the one that financed us to get it going. Without him, it would never be around. We love this guy. We really, truly do. And Fritz, on behalf of all the March players, all the coaches, you are the best, buddy.
I'm not going to say a lot of words. I just would like to thank the Hall of Fame for this honor. It's a team honor. It's not an honor for me. It's an honor for all the guys that are here, some guys that passed away. It's an honor for a team. So I'm just part of that team, and everybody should realize that. I'd like to thank my family, and I'd like to thank all the players who have played for 45 years under the March banner, under the March jersey, and they made this possible tonight, all the guys that have played for March. We've had good teams, we won a lot of things, and we've had a lot of great memories. Thanks a lot.
Whatever you can get.
Whatever you can get.
Hey, well, I'm a friendly stranger in the black sedan. I want you to hop inside my car. I got pictures, got candy, I'm a lovable man, and I can take you to the nearest star. I'm your vehicle, baby. I'll take you anywhere you wanna go. I'm your vehicle, woman.
All right, March softball. What a group. Fantastic. Next up, a great player from the 1964 to 1979 era. Our 64-79 inductee started playing ball on his Northside neighborhood Owls and Baggers teams. During his 12 years in the majors, he played and won with the Bobcats, Strikers, Runts, American Rivet, Bruins, Chiefs, and Murderers Row. His bat and defensive versatility in both the outfield and infield were not so secret weapons. He was named All-American in 1979 with the Bobcats and again in 1982 with the Runts. He also played professional 12-inch softball. He is a retired Chicago police officer. The Hall of Fame honor is Tim Hauser.
I'd like to thank you all for accepting my invitation to come tonight. I appreciate that. To begin with, I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame Executive Board and Board of Directors for this great event and the selection committee that bestowed upon me the honor of becoming a member of the Hall of Fame. I understand that one of the members of the committee was somebody that I had the pleasure of playing for and also treated me like a son, and was mentioned earlier, Bob Campbell, who we all know passed recently. I would also like to thank my family and friends that are here tonight to help me celebrate this great honor. Some of those friends were also teammates for many years. I would like to especially thank my wife Janice for her support, because she was the one that had to take care of the kids, 3 little children who were only 19 months apart, either at the games or at home all the nights and the weekends that I played softball. Softball must have been in the genes, or it rubbed off on my children from when they were old enough to watch and understand the game. Because my daughter played for 4 years in high school. My son Tim played for many years in the city and suburban parks. And my son Ryan played wheelchair softball for the Rehabilitation Institute of Chicago's Cubs, who was named a Hall of Fame team a few years ago. And while he played with them, they took a world championship. In closing, looking back at my career, I can't believe how lucky I was to have played with and against some of the best that have ever played this game. I could never have imagined that just playing a game that I loved would end up like this. Thank you again for this prestigious honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Hauser. Nice going, Tim. Now let's move to the 1993 Currents era. Our first inductee in this 1993 to current era turned a fun pastime into a lifetime passion. He was a high school varsity baseball and football player, and he started playing with Schiller Park Shot and Brooks Park Shooters teams. An outstanding hitter and steady player, he soon joined the majors, playing outfield for the Lords and Splinters, winning a national title before landing with the Miller 45 Lights. Over 12 memorable years, the 45s won 6 ASA 16-inch national titles. The Hall of Fame honors Joe Dooley.
So those of you that know me know this will be very quick. To the Hall of Fame, thank you, Ron. Appreciate it. To all the other inductees tonight, congratulations on this great honor. To all my teammates, coaches, and sponsors, couldn't have done this without you. And to my wife, Keely, who I met through softball, and my daughters, Clarice, Caroline, and Cameron. Thanks for putting up with the old guy. Thank you.
Nice going, Joe. Appreciate that. Our next 93 to current inductee grew up watching his dad play every night, joining the team after high school. And the rest is history as he played for Touch, Scooters, Ice, Rockers, Bucks, Licorice, Flash, and Windy City. He was selected to several All-American teams, and his team won numerous championships, including the ASA Major Nationals in 2002. His career came full circle when he transitioned to coaching travel softball for his daughter for 10 years. The Hall of Fame honors Dennis Gardner.
Thank you. Joe, thanks for giving me that extra time. Appreciate it. So I'd like to start by saying thank you to the Hall of Fame for giving me this special night. It's truly an honor to be standing up here. I would also like to congratulate the other inductees that are being honored here tonight. It really is a special night to have my family, my wife, Kathy, who 25 years ago embraced this game, my daughter, Jillian, and my youngest daughter, Olivia. Sorry. So I also have my dad, Ron Gardner, here with me tonight, and I am honored. You and Mom made me the person I am today, Dad, and I thank you. So softball started with me watching my dad play every single night. My amazing mom would have all 4 kids at every game he played. I remember watching my dad play, and then my brother Bobby and I running around the bases after the game and sliding, just like Dad. Dad was a great player, and watching him is where I got my love for softball. My brother Bob, who was also a great softball player, we competed at everything possible that you can imagine from the time we could walk. We also pushed each other, and I know that made us both better players. I look back as we've gotten older and know how special it was to grow up with my brother. I have 2 wonderful sisters, Chris, my oldest sister, and Patty, my younger sister. Patty is a member of a Hall of Fame team here, the Hangovers. Chris, not so competitive, but did participate in our family co-ed team. When I was 8 or 9, I had a Little League coach that taught me to compete as hard as I could, but just as important was to have fun along the way, like jamming 10 kids into his car and taking them for ice cream. I never forgot that lesson, and when I later coached my daughters, I tried to pass that lesson on to them, even the ice cream thing. My coach was Tom Spathis, who is here tonight with me to share this night. He remains a close family friend of mine today. I was so fortunate to play with and against so many great players and coaches. 2 coaches that meant a lot to me were Stan Paddock and Bob Russ Sr. As we all know, they are missed so much, but I know they are with us tonight. The best thing about softball to me was being able to make such great friends along the way. I was always asked why I sacrificed so much to play the game. It was an easy answer for me. It was the people, the friends I made because of softball. Of course, I enjoyed all the teams I played for, but a couple of teams that stand out are Ice, the Bucks, and RZA Rockers. I raised my families at that time, and we grew up together. I have great friends from them teams and great memories. We watched each other's children grow up. We went to each other's weddings. One of these friends is Pat Caputo, who I probably played more games with than any other player. Thank you, Patty. As most of you all know, 16-inch softball is an amazing group of people. As my family has been faced with some challenges this year, my daughter Olivia has showed us what it really means to be tough. The 16-inch softball family was there for Olivia and my family this year. We didn't ask. That's just what they do. We thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for all that you've done for Olivia and my family this year. 16-inch softball is special, and I am so thankful to be part of it. Once again, I thank the Hall of Fame for this special night. I thank my family, Kathy, Jillian, and Olivia. I love you so much. Thank you for being here and sharing this night. Thanks to all the players that I have played with and against. I have tried to respect the game. I gave it everything I had every time I played.
I am absolutely honored to be part of the 16-inch softball. I thank you very much.
Nice going, Dennis. Appreciate that. Our inductee in the manager category was one of 3 original organizers of the Playboys, which evolved from a neighborhood team to a top-tier powerhouse during his 40 years with the team. As a player and manager, he helped the team win championships. He recruited talent, organized tournaments, and promoted softball to support charities. The Hall of Fame honors Gary Kirch. Now, sadly, Gary is back in Arizona recovering from surgery. So one of his players, Al Plasek, will accept the honor. Let's give him a round of applause. Al?
Good evening, everybody. Good to see a nice turnout here. Good to see everybody got here safe and sound. Once again, my name is Al Plasek, and I was a 2006 inductee. I think the same year Steve was inducted, and that was back at the racetrack, but this is a beautiful facility. But I do want to say I'm very honored to accept this award on behalf of Gary Kirch, manager of the Playboys, and as Steve mentioned, Gary's got some health issues, so he couldn't be here. But I just want to say that Gary was one of those pioneers who had run softball for over 40 years, a neighborhood guy. Started the Playboys at Dunham Park, Portage Park, Merrimack Park. And I'd like to acknowledge our table of Gary Kirch friends and family members. So it's good to see that they're here. Gary had a few comments that he would like to make, so I'm going to read those for him, and certainly I'll be done in 2 minutes. But Gary said, I loved playing baseball since I was a kid. While I grew older, the kid in me never left, and neither did my love for baseball. Softball replaced league ball in my teens, and thank God for that. Being a player and manager for the Playboys for over 40 years has pressed between the pages of my mind countless memories of the competition, the parks, and most of all, the people. Thank you to all those who voted for me, Gary, and to the 16-inch Softball Hall of Fame for this honor. God bless the USA and 16-inch softball. I thank you on behalf of Gary, and congratulations, Gary Kirch. I kept it under 2 minutes.
You did. Great job. Appreciate it, Al. Well said on behalf of Gary. Let's keep moving, folks. We have 2 organizers joining the 16-inch Softball Hall of Fame for 2018. Our first inductee in the organizer category has been playing, managing, and organizing 16-inch softball in Chicago for 40 years. While he played and won championships with many teams, it was a burn injury he suffered as a firefighter that ignited a new passion to use his softball experience to help others. For almost 20 years, he has run an annual tournament for men, women, and co-ed teams, raising over $2 million for children to attend a camp for burn victims. The Hall of Fame honors Tom Taff.
I'm not content to be with you in the daytime.
Well, hello. Again, I'm a guy that likes to be behind the scenes, not up here, because this scares the hell out of me standing in front of all you guys. And, I guess with becoming an organizer, you got to thank a lot of people. I mean, there's an awful lot of people that go into this tournament that we've run for the past 20 years here. Start off with my beautiful wife, Jen. Don't want to forget that. I'll be in trouble when I go home tonight if I didn't. But there's many sponsors to thank. Bud Light, 115 Bourbon Street, JC Restoration, 1-800 Board Up, many, many more. I mean, I could be here all night, and I know you're going to give me the gong, pretty soon. But
A lot of people to thank. The Posse softball, the team that embraced it and took it with me, and then we started this thing. This idea we had, let's do something different. Let's raise money for young burn survivors of Illinois. And that's what we did. And that was many years ago, and it's grown to such a big thing that I can't believe. I'm just so honored to be up here amongst all of you. I mean, it's truly, truly humbling me to stand up here and talk in front of you. So there are so many other people I can sit up here and thank, and forgive me if I don't say your names, because, like I said, it's a little nerve-wracking being up here in front of all of you. So I can't believe that it seems like yesterday when I started playing softball. Walked on a team to watch my brothers play. They were short players. So hey, kid, you want to play? I said, sure, I'll play. What position? I go, I can play short. I said, get in the outfield. So I went in the outfield, and that was 43 years ago. You know what? The rest is history. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. It's great what the Hall of Fame does, right? Not just players, but organizers and umpires and media and all the rest. Our second organizer inductee was a player and manager who made a name for himself while president and league director of the Brookfield Men's Softball Association, where he ran mid-season and end-of-year tournaments that attracted many of the high-profile teams around Chicago. Now, establishing his local tournaments as a not-for-profit organization, he worked with sponsors to provide food, equipment, and uniforms, and the tournaments raised monies to fund field and park equipment and programs. So the Hall of Fame honors Wally D. Dowinski.
I must say, in all honesty, this I never expected in my life. I did it because I love softball. I was a young man when I started playing ball, and I have to really say thank you to my son, Brian, who was the instigator of this great honor that I'm about to get. Plus, being married to a wonderful lady for 52 years who I lost 4 years ago. Like another gentleman said, that, Mom had to watch the kids while you had to do your thing, sponsoring and chasing teams to play in your tournaments. She was a sweetheart, like I said. And she said to me one time, what are you going to get out of this, Wally? And I said, Mom, because I loved the game. I had the opportunity to play it. I'm not a big guy. I'm a small guy. I was a Punch and Judy guy. And I loved the game. So when God took her, and when I found out, Trutsa and Ronnie, that I was nominated, just being nominated was an honor. If I made it, great. If I didn't, that's life. But then when I found out I did make the Hall of Fame, I took the time to go to Resurrection and see my wife's crib and knock on it. I said, Mary Ann, what'd you say to me? What do you get out of softball? Well, honey, I'm in the Hall of Fame. You know something, though? She never responded to me. Thank you. I also want to thank my family and my friends who come here today to give me this great honor. And like I said before, I say things from my heart. I don't need to have things on paper. My feelings come from here. And all you people came here to honor me. I appreciate it so much. My daughter, I see I'm so excited I can't remember her name, Renee. My brother-in-law, Eddie, who pitched and played first base for Baton Rouge. And also my son-in-law and my great-grandchildren, 3 boys and 1 girl. Again, thank you so much for this honor. I will always cherish it that God calls me. God bless you all.
Great stuff, Wally. Appreciate that. Our Frank C. Hollen Award winner began his softball career as a player and eventually manager of Traffic, a neighborhood team that became a top 15 team. With an overall record of 638 wins and 400 losses. His team won numerous league and tournament championships, including the 1992 Grant Park tournament against 150 teams. As a manager, he took great pride in being able to compete against all the top teams with a strong nucleus of players who never lost their identity as a neighborhood team. An excellent ambassador of the sport, the Hall of Fame honors Dean Pritt.
Hello. Joe Dooley started his speech by saying if you know him, it would be short, and if you know me, I could probably talk all night. And if I got Nick up here, we'd probably be here till Tuesday or Wednesday. But this is truly a great honor, and I just wanted to. I've got some notes here too, but I'm gonna wing it here. I wanted to thank the Holland family, Joe Zuccaro and Tim Maher, for all making this possible by nominating me, and the Hall of Fame board is just phenomenal. The work that you guys do is nothing short of amazement. I thank you, and I think everyone in this room should thank the entire Hall of Fame board right now with a nice big round of applause for this great dinner and all that they do. Also want to thank my family for putting up with all the missed events for softball games over the years. 1992, I'm going to break into my best Mickey Balestri here. We went down to Grant Park, and we didn't know what it was, and it happened to be my mother's 50th birthday. I was throwing the party. There weren't cell phones then. I wasn't going to leave the tournament, and I think if I would have, she would have been mad. And if I wouldn't have brought the whole team over after 2 days and 10 games of softball, I think she would have been more mad. And I think the best present for her was me showing up with 12 of my friends and drinking on her porch till 2 or 3 in the morning. So thank you, Mother, and my brother Dan is here for putting up with this all the years of softball. And for a couple of my good friends' wives that are here, they asked if they were in the speech, and you could check the speech out. You were in it before you asked me. Thank you for all the years of respecting what we did and appreciating the love that we had for this game, because it really was special what we did, and the friendships we made will never be forgotten, and I appreciate it, and you can look at the speech yourself. You were in it. When our team first started playing at the major level, Mr. Holland was near the end of his career, but he befriended me. I don't know why. I think he knew before I knew how much I really cared about this game, and we struck up a softball friendship, and that's the great thing about softball is the friendships you make, and the other leaders of the team that I met over the years. I was going to name some of them, but they know who they are. They're here. Actually, I'll name a few. Patty Caputo, Mickey Balestri. Now I started. I could keep going forever. Gino Grande on the north side with the highlights always helped me out, told us where to go play, what to do, and the friendships and the respect that these people have for the game just got passed along to me, and I hope I did a good job of sharing that respect and love of the game. Also like to thank, besides Traffic, I played on a couple of other great neighborhood teams, and I'd like to thank Mike McClanahan, who's here, of the Green Onions, for letting me play on his team, Paul Hanna with the Edge softball team. Great times. I'm getting off base here, but last but not least, I would definitely like to thank my teammates who, over the years, shared the same love and respect for the game that I had. It's not easy running an A team or a major team and trying to play against the top teams, but if you have a core and a nucleus of guys that, again, I'll get back to this theme of love and respect for the game, it was a heck of a lot easier. Billy, Nick, Zook, you guys were the best. I couldn't ask for better teammates. Paul Rossi started with us. It was just the best times of my life, and it was never hard because we were doing something we loved. Once again, I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame board, the Holland family, congratulate all the inductees. Anyone that might have been on this speech that I left out because I just started talking, I apologize to. Anyone else that's ever been around and said a good word to me or I competed against, thank you very much. It was a great time. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Dean. Anyone who plays in the Chicago area knows our Richard J. Daley Award honoree. From a humble beginning as a bat boy, he played for 20 years before he became an umpire. In the 39 seasons since, he has umpired more than 6,000 games and counting at over 60 different fields and venues. He has attended every major tournament as either an umpire or a spectator. As a player, fan, and umpire, continues to give tirelessly to the sport of softball. The Hall of Fame honors Edward Durica.
Thank you. It's a great honor. I want to thank my family for always being with me and for their scheduling adjustments that enabled my softball and family events to coexist. I want to thank my son Matt, who got together with his high school friend Mark Holstein and got the nominating process going. I want to thank Mark Holstein for bringing my bio to Ronnie and the committee, and I want to thank the committee for voting me in. This game's been great to me. I first started at 10 years old as a bat boy for the Gaffers. They played at Harrison Park and Dvorak Park in the city. I then played for 22 years. Now I've been umpiring for 39. So far I've done 6,130 games umpiring, and I'm still going. I've met many wonderful people through softball. There's very nice people in this game. Well, I guess that's about it. I just want to say, like Garrett Morris from Saturday Night Live might say, softball's been very, very good to me.
Does that sound like an umpire? Taking control of a game? Don't want to argue balls and strikes with this guy. You get the quick hook, right? My goodness. Thank you, Ed. Appreciate that. Our Wall of Fame category has a few winners tonight. 45 years of playing 6-inning softball proved this Wall of Fame inductee's passion for the game. His career as an infield included seasons with Circus, Monsters, Bucks, Bobcats, Silver Streaks, and Mount Prospect. His teams earned trips to USSA major tournaments with 3 second-place finishes. Along the way, he earned tournament Most Valuable Player awards and many team championships, including the 1983 USSA All-World with the Bucks. The Hall of Fame honors Ron the Joker Mueller.
I thought we weren't going to get this one in tonight with the rain, but I guess we were playing inside, so, that's a break. I want to thank the Hall for this honor. It's been a long time coming, but it's worth it. I want to congratulate the inductees. I know some of them, but, I played against probably all of them and maybe everybody in the United States at one time. But the main thing is, all the friends that I have here tonight, a lot of which are my teammates, and all of them are my teammates off the field. And I thank them for this, for coming tonight. It's been a great thing. And I wanted to mention 2 more things. One thing, my brother Turk, who passed 6 years ago or so, did as much for this game as almost anybody in my time with his organizing, chasing sponsors down, and we also I was part of that. We also went to those establishments often, and that's part of the game in Chicago. and so I thank him. He would have been glad to be here. And the other thing was, one of my friends here tonight happened to have his son walk in here. He came right in here from North Carolina. That's Frank Kaminsky Jr. He plays with the Charlotte Hornets. So that was a special thing, a surprise actually, and I'm really glad about that. But so there's numerous people to thank, but the best thing I can do is just say thanks to everybody that had a part of this. They throw a good party, and I was really glad to be here, and I'll try to make it more often, from now on. So thank you very much.
Let's talk about the second Wall of Fame honoree now. He started playing 16-inch softball in 1961 before 2 years in the Army in Vietnam. Upon his return, he continued league play for 10 years before moving to the majors and winning the 1975 ASA National Championship with the Josephs. He later joined the Lords as a player and eventually became manager for 8 years, taking the team to nationals several times and winning numerous tournaments. After retiring from the majors in 1995, he continued to play senior softball through 2017, winning 9 national titles, 26 regional titles, and 3 gold medals, earning 2 MVPs at nationals, 1 at the Softball Olympics, and numerous all-tournament honors. What a resume. The Hall of Fame honors Jim Donato.
Should have took public speaking in high school. First, I want to start off with thanking Ronnie. This is unbelievable, and it's grown and grown and grown, and I hope all these years, it's about friendship. It's also about winning. Definitely, that's nice and all that goes up. But over 40, 50 years, I see some people here that I played with 40, 50 years ago. Especially, I want to thank my family for all the support. Cindy, Alicia, Danny, Joey, Santino, I forget somebody over there? Good friends and former Lord softball, Mike Milligan, Jerry Calabrese. Got to play with 2 of my nephews, Ray and Joey. It's like I said it before, it's about friendship, what you gain through all these years of playing ball. It's nice winning, but also, I want to thank Patty Caputo, Frankie Lentine for helping me get through this. I hope soon or later the Lords will be in the Hall of Fame one day. A lot of great ball players, played against the greatest. For all these years, played against the Bobcats, could hardly ever beat them. So eventually, I said, if I can't beat Frankie and the Bobcats, Lentine, I joined them in senior softball. We played over 20 years together, and all the other titles was great and everything. But like I said, in softball, it's about friendship, and you can't beat it. 16-inch has been great for me, and all I got to say is God bless everybody. That's all I could say. I'm not a speaker. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Jim. All right, what a story we have here on this next recipient. This Wall of Fame inductee started playing the game with his dad before he could drive. Over the next 40 years, he was only sidelined a short time after suffering a heart attack on the field. But he returned to play as soon as he recovered. Playing for many teams over the years, he was a versatile infielder with many appearances in national tournaments. His career was highlighted by the Playboys, Chicagoland Championship, 2 city corporate titles with Molex, a first-team All-American with March MFG, and at the Prescott ASA Nationals and the Iowa ASA Nationals, second-team All-American with the Fat Kids. In recent years, he has raised close to $1 million for cancer research, organizing annual Lord and Heinel Memorial Tournaments. The Hall of Fame honors Stephen Heinel.
First off, I'd like to thank my family for being here. and Al Mag for having this dream of the great Hall of Fame. And Ron, you've done a great job with Ray. There's really not much to say. I've had great teammates. I love playing this game. Met a lot of friends, had a lot of teammates, players I played against. We've all had fun together. Thank you for letting me have this honor.
Nice going, Stephen. Appreciate it. The next Wall of Fame honoree learned the game in Chicago Park District's Jensen Park. Taking you back, folks, 1942, he was captain of the Jeeps of Jensen, playing shortstop and pitcher as the team battled a field of 400 teams to win the Chicago Parks Junior Championship. In 1945, the team also won the 18-year-old division. Upon return from honorable service in World War II, his adult athletic career was mostly with old men in Terminal Park. He played amongst a group of athletes that not only grew up with the sport, but were responsible for growing the sport. The Hall of Fame honors Herb Sweeto. And accepting the award, his son Paul.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here for my father, who is in the far north suburbs of Illinois. And as we know, there are whiteout conditions tonight, and was unable to make it. It's a tremendous honor to be here tonight, and thank you to the Hall of Fame. My dad started in the early 1930s playing the game, and then in 1942 they won what may have been the largest softball tournament in the history of our sport, and we will be donating that trophy to the Hall of Fame during the unveiling of the plaques in July, so we're really excited about that. My dad loved this game, and I grew up across the street from Terminal Park, one of the busiest 16-inch softball leagues in the suburbs. And I said, Dad, one day, why did you choose to live here? He said, son, I looked at all of the 16-inch leagues in Chicago and in the suburbs on one side of the sheet, and I looked at all of the available homes for sale on the other side. And the one that was closest to the park is where we decided to buy a house and live. And I grew up truly about 20 yards away from the ballpark where we played, and there were leagues every night. It was a tremendous time. My father loved this game so much. He also played basketball. He was an all-city basketball player, got recruited to Michigan State, and turned it down and said, I'm going to walk on at Notre Dame. And he walked on. He got drafted into World War II. And I said, Dad, this is years ago. I said, Dad, why didn't you ever tell me about these great basketball honors and all that? And he said, son, today's game day. And today my mind is on the game now. And that was his mindset. He still bowls. He's 91 years old, and he's working to increase his bowling score now, or decrease, rather, yeah. So it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. And it's just been an honor to be amongst all of you. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Paul. Appreciate it. During his 2 decades of play, our final Wall of Fame inductee, though small in stature, played with a sheer heart, determination, hustle, grit, and desire. Starting as an outfielder, he moved to the infield before finding his home on the mound. As a pitcher with solutions, he earned Most Valuable Player honors at ASA Nationals, while the team captured more than 20 championships, including 3 ASA national titles. Always quick with encouragement and suggestions. His personal mantra before taking the field at every game was PhD, pride, hustle, and desire. The Hall of Fame honors Anton Thrash.
Inch softball. I'd like to start by thanking Gio and Spider for getting me through the process, and the Hall of Fame committee for bestowing an honor such as this on me, because I look across this room and I'm looking over there at the table with all the guys from Flash and March and all these outstanding ball players that forced me to get better as a pitcher. I thank each and every one of you. I would like to also congratulate my fellow inductees. This is very humbling. I love this game. There's no other way for me to explain it. I'm humbled because to be someplace like here, when I walked on the field, I didn't have aspirations of ever standing here. I played the game because I love it. I would like to thank all of my teammates, all of the ball players that I've played against, Washington Park, Garfield Park. All of you guys made me a better pitcher. But most importantly, I have to thank my wife and my daughter. When you work a full-time job and you get off work and you change in the shirt in the car and you're trying to get to Forest Park on time to play a doubleheader, then you get at home at 11:30 at night and you slam in the microwave door and you're taking a shower and you're trying to get your plate, and then you cramp up at 3:30 in the morning and your wife and daughter is rubbing cramps out of your legs and you can't move, and then your wife say, "Look at you, Mr. Athlete. I'm going to get this cramp out, but you're going to work in the morning." God bless each and every one of you. Thank you.
How about Anton? That's great. Great stuff. Time now to recognize the other teams entering the Hall of Fame. Our second team honoree, remember we started with March, second team honoree was created in the spring of 1982 when a group of girlfriends joined the Mount Prospect Women's B League, scoring 125 runs and winning 8 out of 10 games by slaughter rule in their first season. They allowed only 6 runs from their opponents. Joining forces with another talented team, they went undefeated in their second season and took home the postseason crown. They continued to dominate women's tournaments in Chicago throughout the 80s. Some of the original players continued playing in fundraising tournaments until a few years ago, remaining very competitive against much younger teams. The Hall of Fame honors the Hot Shots.
Girls, we run this mother.
Well, hello everybody. Unlike Jim, who was one of the inductees up here before, I did take public speaking in high school, but I got an F. So, but anyway, I really want to thank Ron Kubicki for this great honor. It's because of the team that I'm up here. Also, the SSA committee. I grew up with softball. The late Joe Umana, my dad, who passed away a few years back, was inducted in 2004 as a manager organizer, and also in 2008 for a Chicago Northwestern team. And softball was in our blood, in our family's blood. So when I met my wife, Rose, of 38 years here, I said, let's get a women's softball team with all your talented friends from Forest View High School in Arlington Heights. And she goes, yeah, that's a great idea. So, and also work people. She worked at Anderson Lock, still does now, 38 years. So we put this girls team together, and it just flourished from the time we started. I mean, like Steve said, we were winning games. In fact, some of the women's teams complained to Bob Ancona that they wanted us kicked out of the league because we were beating them by too many runs. So we ended up moving up to the A League, and we got very strong after that. But I'd like to thank our sponsors, Anderson Lock Company, Dave and Jim's Auto Body, and probably the one that loves us the most was Yellowtown Inn, because though we were great softball players, they were better drinkers, let me tell you. they closed down that place every time we had a game. And like someone said before, it's all about the friendships and the camaraderie. That really happened with us. I'd like to thank Joe, there's Joe, my co-coach, for some of the offensive and defensive moves he made with the lineup and things like that. It was great to coach with him. One of the most memorable times in my coaching career with these women, besides the great players they were, is we had the honor of hosting a women's exhibition game at one of the ASA 16-inch national tournament kickoff celebration nights at Majewski Park. Bob Ancona had invited us to do that. We won the game handily, and it was a great game. Not too many people stuck around. They all ran to O-Town Inn to celebrate and all that good stuff. But after the game, Randy Huntley of the Cubs, who had played a celebrity game right before us, was watching our game, came up to me, shook my hand. He says, your Hot Shots women's team is one of the best teams he's ever witnessed play the game of 16-inch softball. It's a great game. All I could say is that I'm up here because of these 21 girls here. They're great players. I didn't really have to coach. We didn't have to coach them that much. It's just a bunch of talent that gelled together over the years. It took us to tournaments from Calumet City to Softball City on the north to Trevor, Wisconsin, and too many teams and tournaments to mention, but we had a great time, and I really want to thank everybody up here for all they've done for this team. Thank you very much to the Hot Shots. Thank everybody. That way, this way.
Girls, we run this mother. Yeah. Girls, we run this mother. Yeah. Girls, we run this mother. Yeah.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. Congratulations to the Hot Shots. The next team to be honored was a group of guys that played sports in the Garfield Ridge neighborhood who decided to form a softball team back in 1972 and proceeded to win the Normandy Park League. Over the next few years, they became a very successful team in Summit Park, Normandy Park, Wentworth Park softball leagues, adding key players and becoming a standout non-major Class B team through the late 70s and early 80s. Then by 1983, the team decided to play major class softball. And in 1985, with the help of a sponsorship, they won the Kelly Park A-League, Normandy Park League, Chicago Park District Championship Tournament, the Metro, ASA Major Nationals, and the Mather Park Tournament. The Hall of Fame honors Touch.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. My music hits me so hard, makes me say, oh my Lord, thank you for blessing me. What a mind to ride and do like me, it feels good when you know you're down. A super dope homeboy from the Oak Town, and I'm known as such, and this is you can't touch it. I told you, homeboy.
Thank you, Dave Nelligan, on behalf of the Touch. This is really a great honor. I want to thank, who are you waving to, him? I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee. What took you so long? These guys are all old now. Like he said, we just wanted to win Normandy Park, and we were lucky enough to play some great teams at Normandy Park, the Elite, Shooting Stars at Summit. Just what are some of the other teams we played? And through the years, we added players and moved up the ladder. In 1985, we won the Nationals in Marshalltown, Iowa. In 1986, we did something no other softball team did. We played the 12-inch champions, Steels, and we showed them what a 16-inch team could do. We beat them handily and sent them back to Ohio.
And they were getting paid big money, those guys, big money. But they never came back to play again. There was at least 12 16-inch teams that could have beat them, really sent them packing. But I want to thank all our sponsors. We had some great sponsors. Where's the big guy? Is the big guy here? Tim Maher, Jim Taylor from Budweiser, BJ's Pub, the Gomelis Brothers, John Kevlahan, and I want to thank one of our key players that's not with us today, Vince Murphy. He's passed away, and he had the biggest cooler you ever saw. And we spent many a day arguing about wins and losses, and we never came to any solutions, but we still made it to work the next day. So, and I got one thing to say personally. Mike North, you said that the touch management couldn't keep the team together. Well, look at us now. Here we are in the Hall of Fame. You were wrong, brother. And to all their families and my family, thank you for letting us stay out so late with all these sponsors, 5 nights a week and on the weekend. Thank you.
Can't touch this. Can't touch this. Can't touch this. Can't touch this. My music hits me so hard, makes me say, oh my Lord, thank you for blessing me. What am I doing?
Nice going touch, well deserved. Our next team inductee enjoyed a 22-year winning history in Chicagoland 16-inch softball with a core roster. They were formed in 1976 with players from the citywide Post Office League. They played for the championship in their first year, and the following season they were undefeated. They competed in the Mount Prospect and Blue Island leagues. They won championships in Washington Park, Tully, Hamilton, and Grand Crossing parks. The team also made appearances in national championship playoffs in Blue Island and in Marshalltown, Iowa. The Hall of Fame honors the Bandits.
Stumping and the jam is pumping. Look ahead, the crowd is jumping. Pump it up a little more, get the party going on the dance.
We want to thank the Hall of Fame for the opportunity to be here. This team has been together for about the last 22 years in one form or another. And they've played everywhere and done everything that they're supposed to do. They like to talk because as I was coming up here, somebody asked me, said, I'm doing the talking. I said, I don't think so. But I want to say we appreciate the opportunity, and these have been a great bunch of guys. They were everything, you know, just to be able to be among them and watch them play. It was one of the greatest things in my life. And I want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you.
Stop it, Ron.
One, two, three.
Let it all shine.
Let it roll.
Great job, the Bandits. Almost done, folks. Our final team award goes to a strong offensive team. They were established back in 1996 out of Garfield Park. This competitive group of hardworking players like to let their game do the talking, as you can see right now. They changed that a little bit. They won championships in Garfield Park, Columbus Park, Washington Park, and Clyde Park. By 2001, they won the Grant Park Citywide Tournament, followed by the 2003 ASA State Tournament Championship and the 2005 Class A National ASA Championship. One of the top teams in their era, the Hall of Fame honors Steel Gold.
Goldfinger, he's the man,
Best for last.
man with the Midas touch.
Say the best for last, baby.
No. Hello, everyone. We'd like to thank the Hall of Fame for recognizing us and for nominating us into it. We're originally from Garfield Park, and we're offsprings from California Gold. And some people here knows about California Gold. We'd like to thank Donald Wu Tony. He's in the back here. That was our manager. 9-9. And thank you all for having us. Short and sweet.
And that's a miracle from him.
Nice going, Steel Golds. All right, final award, folks. It's our Field of Dreams Award. It goes to a Southwest Side park that was originally a dump site with one baseball field. As the population and demand for recreation grew, improvements were made over the years, adding a field house, a pool, and 5 ball fields. It is host to a Tuesday-Thursday men's 16-inch softball league that dates back more than 65 years and was home to one of the most competitive Sunday leagues in the city, featuring teams like the Bobcats, Strikers, Loafers, Whips, and a few local teams, including the Old Timers. As women's leagues started using the fields, peak years in the 70s saw the park host up to 40 teams, utilizing all 5 diamonds every day of the week throughout the summer. Hall of Fame honors Kennedy Park.
Hi, I am honored to be here to accept the award on behalf of the entire Kennedy Park 16-inch softball community. I'd first like to thank Paul Rowan for nominating us and the entire Hall of Fame committee. I'd also like to thank the past park supervisors, league directors, and all the tournament organizers who have kept 16-inch softball alive at Kennedy Park. I'd also like to thank the umpires who week after week come to hear all the gracious praise from all you wonderful players. And last but not least, I'd like to thank the players who, past and present, have made Kennedy Park a great place to play 16-inch softball. Thank you.
Folks, thanks so much. And don't forget, we had a great crowd here. Let's get it even bigger next year. If you were an honoree tonight, bring your family next year. Let's help this thing grow. Everybody, please drive safely. Thanks so much for being here. We had a great night. Thanks.